Welcome back to Newsday, and joining me now as a regular on this program, the Shadow Attorney General, Andrew Wallace, has just received a promotion in the reshuffle that Susan Lee's announced this week. Congrats on the promotion, first of all, the Shadow Attorney General now, and I want to kick off our discussion today with reflections on something that we've discussed on many occasions over the last 2 years, that being the conflict in the Middle East, and what an extraordinary 24 hours we've seen, what relief for so many the hostage families with the return of 20 alive, and great emotion in that country.
Well, Kieran, when I got home last night, I was watching the address, the very long address from the US President Trump to the Knesset, and you really just got that feeling that this is a momentous occasion. And it was. We have been walking this journey with our friends from Israel for over 2 years now, and to think that those people had been locked up in holes, in tunnels, never seen the light of day, effectively being starved of food and water and all other deprivations, and to see them, 20 of them released yesterday to be with their families was an incredibly emotional time for everybody, least of all for them.
On the future of the region, the President says the war is over. It's been such a problematic and fractious part of the world for so long. Obviously, we want to have hope that that's true, but there is a long way to go.
Well, there is a long way to go. There's a long way to go under this 20-point peace plan. But peace is something that is hard fought for. The President Trump's approach to peace through strength has absolutely demonstrated that he's been convicted of this. It's just when you compare the approach to President Trump to countries like Australia, France, Canada, that has been very, very weak on Israel, and dare I say, one of appeasement of listed terrorist organisation in Hamas. President Trump brought it home. He brought it home for Israel, and he brought it home for peace in the Middle East. That's not to suggest that that this is not going to be a work in progress. Clearly, there's a lot of work to do to secure that peace, but to make it a lasting peace. To make it a lasting peace, it's got to be a win-win to any extent possible for everybody.
I want to ask you about a news release Pauline Hanson has put out. She says that those who've been granted protection visas from Gaza should be sent back now that peace has been achieved. What do you say to that?
Well, these people should be under temporary protection visas, and as we've seen in the past, when people are allowed into Australia under temporary protection visas, as conditions return to normal, then those people should be sent home. We're a long way from that, it has to be said right now. I mean, Gaza will be a construction site for a long time yet. There's clearly a lot of work to do to ensure that peace is maintained. But ultimately, yes, people should be returned to their place of origin. Clearly, there'll be a huge job ahead of people living in Gaza to rebuild that place. So I think that ultimately those people should be going home, but whether the time is right now, and to be fair to Pauline, I don't think she's saying that should be done tomorrow. I think she's indicating that it should be done in a reasonable time, and that's pretty hard to argue with.
It certainly sounds like... I'll read you what she said, because I think you're giving her cutting her a bit of leeway there. Said people brought from Gaza to Australia by the Albanese government have no valid reason left to be here now that peace has been achieved in the Middle East. That was the first line of what she said. So it sounds like she wants them returned now.
But then she also went on to say that she understood that there's a lot of work to do to rebuild Gaza, and that's not going to happen overnight. So I think you need to be reasonable about this. I don't think there's any suggestion that we're going to be putting people on planes tomorrow.
OK, well, we read that in a different way, but let's look at the comments by the NT Chief Minister, Leah Finocchiaro. She has confirmed to my colleague, Matt Cunningham in the Northern Territory, that there will be a ban on transgender women in female prisons. That's the first jurisdiction in Australia to do that. What's your view on that? Is that something that should be more broadly adopted?
Well, it was interesting that you played a snippet just before the break from Chris Minns when he said that he couldn't see a situation where he saw, a male transitioning to become a woman serving time in a female prison. And I think that's a welcome acknowledgement. But ultimately, these are matters for state and territory governments, not a federal matter. But I can tell you now, Kieran, I am absolutely fixated on ensuring, as the Shadow Attorney General, that this government, this federal government, is held to account to ensure that people who commit serious Commonwealth offences do serious time. We need to ensure that people who, say for instance, that have committed and are convicted of serious crimes against children, child sexual exploitation, that they feel the full brunt of the law. And that's why just last week, when Julian Leeser was the Shadow Attorney, he introduced, or tried to introduce, legislation bringing in mandatory minimum sentences to try and correct a lot of the approach that we have seen by the courts. In this case, we saw a person who had been convicted of on 77 occasions of sexually exploiting his own daughter, and he effectively got 6 months for the Commonwealth offences, together with the state offences, 2.5 years. That is just.
Do you believe there should be a ban on
right-minded?
Just to clarify your position on that, do you believe there should be a ban on transgender women in female prisons?
Well, I mean, these are matters for the state. The Commonwealth doesn't run prisons. These are matters for the state and territory governments. But I have serious concerns about people who are transitioning one way or the other. I mean, if you look at a male that's transitioning and spending time in a female prison, what about the rights of the women that are living in that prison? I think we have an obligation to ensure that we don't just focus on the person, one person. We focus on the implications that will bring on the menu. It's a little bit like the argument around transitioning people in sporting teams, having blokes playing rugby league again in women's teams. I think it's an analogous argument.
Shadow Attorney General Andrew Wallace, thanks for your time.
Authorised by Andrew Wallace, LNP, Boccarina, Queensland.